Main event, you are live on air with the Minnow Town Hall. I am your host, Skanky J, who also is sometimes known as Agrode, who is witness 11 on the list. And I'm joined today by a Maine resident who is a DJ, a music DJ up in Maine as his professional career. He has been an absolute blessing to the MSP Waves radio show, and he's a moderator that was recently promoted to full moderator as a really high quality dude, and we're lucky to have you. So, main event, how are you this evening?
I'm doing great, Agrode. How are you doing?
I'm good. How did you feel about those interviews with Brian and David?
I actually just jumped in here just a moment ago, so I didn't catch that first part of it. But all your other interviews that you've been doing on this show are great, Agrode. I think what you're doing with this Monday night, your Minnow Mayor Town Hall here every Sunday is a great thing for the Steem platform. I think you're doing a great thing with this.
Well, I hope that we can continue to grow this thing, and I hope that as we continue to grow, we'll keep getting more and more folks in here, even if it doesn't always have the biggest reach. Like, sometimes we can get paid pretty well for having done this, which gives me some financial leeway to do things like buy Brian Turner sweatshirts and shirts and whatever, so that he can wear that on his show and suddenly get more people to go see this place. I mean, the posts aren't. None of this shit is linear, is what I'm trying to say, except for the rewards. But we got 30 people in here, but the 30 people in the show post, and that can go turn into quite a bit of views, and especially just bringing these people on board, I feel like it'll help. So that's a really long, weird way of saying thank you, and hopefully it serves its purpose.
Yeah, I think a lot of these radio shows here on MSP Waves are doing a lot to help the reach of Steem It and the noticeability of it. You know, whether they're posting their shows on YouTube or whether they're, wherever they might be sharing their shows that they're doing here on MSP Waves. I think the more people that are getting involved in these radio shows, it's just helping get the word more out about Steem It and Steem. And then you're bringing personalities from YouTube and things like that. And I'm trying to do similar things on my radio show, which I do on Wednesday nights. We try to interview people specifically that are on the Steem It platform. And I've also been trying to reach out to people that are posting videos on YouTube and places like that they're talking about Steem It already, to bring them into Minnow Support Project to kind of bridge those gaps. And the same thing with the different Discord groups also. I mean, of course, we're in Minnow Support Project tonight, but I think bringing people in from the other Discord groups to come on these radio shows is a great way for the members of both of those communities to interact, because maybe they haven't heard about MSP or vice versa. If somebody's coming in from, pick your Discord channel, there's so many now, but it's great to see, the interactions between the groups because of the radio station. It's really been an amazing thing that you guys have all, been a part of getting this going and everything.
Well, I mean, say you're coming from the aspect or angle of a Medal of Honor winner, so it's not like we did this without your help or support. So many kudos back to you. I mean, I try to do the things that I can to promote this platform, and while my skills are not super technical, they are pretty social in nature, and I feel like I can provide that way. And if I can provide that and other people can help with the back end of the radio station or the website or whatever it's going to be, I feel like collectively we can help this place grow, which I ultimately think will help this place moon.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the more things we all can do individually to help get more exposure for the platform, I think is a good thing. And everybody can do something in their own way. You may not do a full-on radio show, but, even just telling your friends, your family, people that are in your life about Steem It. I interviewed Starkers on my show, and we talked a lot about the Promo Steem initiative, which is people going out and actually doing events, where they're actually, going to like universities and places like that, and they're actually promoting Steem and Steam It to the public. And everybody can do things in their own way and using their own talents, I feel like, to help grow what this Steem It community is.
So while we've been on air, Steem It appears to have reached $2.61.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. It looks like SBDs are spiking too.
It looks like we are mooning like crazy right now, and it looks like my Steem dollars are about to be worth more money than. We got some good shit going on. Yeah, that's going up to 8 or 0.8. So what is that? Shit, I gotta go.
I was looking at some charts earlier today, and I think it was back in June that Steem had hit around, it was like 266, something like that. So, I mean, I think if we break through that level, we will actually be at highs for the year.
Yeah,
which is pretty awesome.
We're at 266 right now, basically, and Steam-backed dollars are 14.79. So, I can't blame anybody that looks at that and immediately says, "Holy shit, I'm selling." But I look at that and I say, I'm still hodling, because I think we're just at the start of this. And I know people think I'm nuts because we have a pegged currency and the currency is going to stay at 1 and all the witnesses are going to print an ass load of SBDs and we'll drive it back to 1. But I'm not of that inclination. I think having 3.6 million of them, it's one of the smallest circulating coins in crypto land. It's fast, it's free, and it's pretty awesome. I think this thing is going to keep going up. So we'll see what happens. I probably shouldn't give too much advice on this because I don't want people like betting rent money or something on this. But if you have, I have some freedom in what I can do with my money here, and I'm expecting this thing. We showed Hagen. Hagen was predicting $28 SPDs. That's sort of short term. That's sort of in the next, by 2018 or by the start of 2018, that's where we'll be. But I tend to think that they're going to go higher. Can't fault anyone for selling because a lot of people think that it's pegged, so it's going to go back to 1. So if you're selling at 15 or 30 or whatever the hell you sell at, no shame. But I have a little flexibility to ride this out even further, and we'll see what this looks like.
Right, and I mean, of course, like you said, this is just our opinions and everything. We're not giving anybody advice or anything, but, do your own research, of course. But, we're on a pace here where we look at things like Bitcoin being $20,000, right? So who's to say, Steem couldn't someday maybe go to $50 or $100 or something? That doesn't seem unreasonable to me. When I look at, these other coins skyrocketing in value, Steem and its blockchain seem like they have so much more going on than some of these other coins that I see that are way up in value. So maybe Steem will kind of be an underdog,
Tell me another coin that has a top 2000 website. Like it doesn't exist. And now Steem's at 2.7. That's pretty sexy.
That might be the high for the year then, right there.
And I don't think we're done. I mean, I think this thing is going to... I mean, look, maybe it's just a pump like some people are worried about. But look, if Steem did nothing except for keep track with what Bitcoin's growth was, we would have something like $6 Steem right now. So even at our all-time high, or it's not quite all-time, but like post-inflation all-time high of 260, this is still peanuts. I mean, ignore me, do whatever the hell you want, and nobody will look at you and say, wow, you were a total idiot for cashing out when it was reaching an all-time high. That makes some sense, but I'm not powering down. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep delegating to these projects, and I'm looking forward to seeing Steem have a banner fucking year in 2018. We're off to a good start.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm looking back right now. It looks like it was around November 11th. Steem was only 83 cents. So we're not even a month, we're a little over a month since then, and it's more than doubled in value. So I mean, that's amazing.
God, I suck at life. There was a time when I was like, I'm sorry this whole thing got derailed into crypto talk, but this is an exciting peak. In fact, I should go tell people in a certain channel that we are spiking.
To kind of bring it back to your show, though, and everything, Aggroed, again, though, I definitely think these forums are a great place for people to come on here, because I think, adding what I like to say about these radio shows is they add the voice to the platform and to the profile. So, you read somebody's blog or you see them in chat, and you always read their words and everything, and you kind of get this picture of who they are in your mind, right? And then once you hear their voice, that just adds like a whole nother dimension to it. And I think that's what's one of the beauties of this radio platform is we're getting to know people on a more personal level. And even just hearing their voice, it just adds so much more of another dynamic to it. And I think, the things that you're doing with this show and of course the other shows on the station are really great to give all these people, a platform that they can come on and talk about their blogs, their projects they're working on, and things like that. And I think that motivates them to want to do more. So,
and hopefully just feeling like they're connected to another human being,
right?
Like you're not just plugging the stuff into a blog and it goes into an infinite ocean of other posts, but you're talking to a human being and you're talking to a community and you feel humanly connected. I mean, this is part of why the song Home. Who does Home? This is our unofficial song. I should know this. Home. Crap. Who is it? Edward something? Edward Sharp and the Magnetic Zeros. But like a lot of people in here say PalNet is my home and PalNet's my digital home, and people do that. And, that's the power of a good community. It's one that draws you in and sucks you in, and you feel at peace and home here. And hopefully this radio show is helping people connect, because that's the dream.
Yeah, I think most people obviously join Steem it for the money. Let's all be honest with ourselves. We heard we could earn some money here possibly, and so we joined. But then once you get here, it kind of changes from that selfish attitude of, oh, it's all about me, to you start understanding that this is a community aspect here. I was just talking about this with somebody earlier today, and it's different than other social media, because while it is, of course, about promoting your blog and things like that, and you do want to be successful, helping other people and being part of a community on Steem it is so much more rewarding, I feel like. That's what makes it different for me than other social media is, I talk to people from all over the world because of Steem it. And I never would have had any of these types of interactions through, I won't even name the names of the other social medias, but, through those platforms, I would have never been having these types of interactions and these types of situations like these radio shows. And I'm very grateful for it, because it's been a huge factor in my life. And I've only been on here since May. But the amount of time I've put in here, I feel like was worth it. I was saying to somebody earlier, even if Steem went to zero, I'd be upset, of course, and disappointed, but I would look back on this whole experience and realize how amazing it was, how we've done all these amazing things, we've met all these people, and, the entire experience of Steem it goes well beyond the rewards, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you said it all. It's write, post, earn, and then after that, it's find friends, find family, find a place in the world, find like-minded people, find community, find home, there's a number of people that have put out posts of Steem it saved my life, or even the Minnow Support Project did. I mean, I get a little weepy at some of these. But yeah, I mean, I think that we've built something pretty amazing, and it's totally a collective, collaborative effort. The single best thing I did was just set this place to have a service mindset, and then it attracted some of the most amazing people. Crimson Clad is easily one of the most like phenomenal human beings who is more giving than almost anybody I've ever met in my life. I count and rely on Shane, and he is an extraordinary human being and put so much effort and thoughtfulness into these things. The Discordiant spends hours and hours trying to make sure that this place is cleansed of shit posts and people that are scamming us. And there's just, I can't look at the screen without finding absolutely phenomenal human beings that I care very deeply about. And, that's why I'm online and in this community freaking all the damn time.
Right. And I mean, as the community grows, as Steam it becomes more mainstream, of course, the floodgates will eventually open. And I do worry a little bit sometimes that this close-knit community aspect will only really last for so long. Once you start getting potentially millions of people joining the platform and everything, there's going to be that many more voices. But I'm hoping these subgroups, like these Discord communities, will still continue and can be more narrowed down to specific, content types or regional groups or things like that. Or, of course, this is the Minnow support project, so this will be, primarily where a lot of new members will continue to come. And, so I hope that as the platform grows, that community aspect isn't lost. But that, of course, will come down to the users themselves. And it seems to be, anytime I tell anybody about Steam It, I always tell them it's the majority of people that I've interacted with are all genuine, giving type people. They're not just going to try to, troll you or rip you off or something, or to just be mean or ignorant to you for no reason. Of course, those people exist. You can't avoid it. They're everywhere. But on Steam it seems like the majority of the people they're caring, they're genuine, they'll help you if you ask a question, that type of thing. And I just hope that continues as the platform grows. That's the only kind of fear I have with Steam it getting too big someday, is that you lose that community aspect. Hopefully not.
It's entirely possible that as we bring people from other platforms here, it's going to be a different experience for them, and they're going to come as, most of the Facebook community people do, and they come over as selfish assholes, frankly. And it takes time to figure out that that's not successful here.
Yeah,
and even with an influx of people, they're not. That doesn't necessarily come with an influx of steam. And so I think it's going to be up to the whales and the people that are already on this platform to pick out not just the content that we like, but the people that we like. People that have values that match some of the potential of this platform, people that spread some of the gospel of blockchain, like somebody coming in here and just kind of like flaming everyone, because that's what you can do on other media platforms to gain some exposure. I think they just catch a lot of flags. I mean, I don't think, maybe there's a couple people that would upvote them, but I think there'd be a lot more that would be like, this is really not what we want our platform to be. So, I think the reward system, I think the flagging system, no matter how controversial, I think the flagging system and the rep system will keep some of that shit at bay.
Yeah, and that is one of the things I like about Steam It, is that it's community enforced. The community kind of gets to decide who's going to get upvoted and who's going to get downvoted. I mean, and if somebody is just downvoting someone for absolutely no reason, there's no logic behind it, they're just being a hater or whatever, then hopefully the community will rally behind that person who is getting flagged and kind of get them out of that situation. Now, granted, if somebody's just disagreeing with your rewards, well, it's hard to argue with that, because that's their right to do. They have a right to disagree with your rewards. So just always kind of keep that in mind when you're hoping for upvotes for your not so great content. You may get somebody out there who's going to completely disagree with that content and downvote it too. And that's just the beauty of this platform, is it can go either way, really. And it's going to evolve over time, I think, with different personalities joining the platform with varying levels of Steam power. Right now we have a few individuals who have taken it upon themselves to be the flag people, I don't know how to describe that, but as others join, and maybe they'll have different opinions on what should be flagged and what shouldn't and things. And so as it grows, I'm sure this whole thing is going to change and evolve basically as time goes on.
Yeah, and that's going to be okay. We'll live through it all, and we'll take an influx of people. We're planning for an influx of people, and the Minnow Support Project will be here to try to curtail their idiocy on the platform and teach them from day one how to be successful. And hopefully, I mean, we've already seen it. Like, let me do a server command and see how many people are in here. T server. I mean, we're up at 5,653 people, and so we just our community alone in basically 17 days has gone up, 650 people. We've seen more than a 10% growth, and I personally think a lot of that is related to, holy shit, SBDs are $10. I can make I make more money posting for an hour than I do at my full-time job for an hour. I mean, shit. I did. I've had things that pay me 30 SBD, and it took an hour. I mean, that was like $300 worth of stuff that comes back to me. Shit, with $15 SBDs, which they're a little bit below right now, but if it's $15, that's $450. I mean, there's not a lot of ways that people can make $450 in a day that are legal.
No, and this hopefully is what is in store for our future. With these tokens and everything that are going to be created for all these different content creation things on the internet. I mean, I was trying to look into more of the SMT things that are coming and trying to learn more about what those are exactly. And it seems like that's going to be a huge thing when all of these companies can now tokenize their content, and that can get distributed amongst everybody who's posting or writing comments or whatever they want to use those tokens for. And that seems like it's going to be a huge thing once that becomes widespread. And, who knows? Somebody actually compared it to almost like, not that I'm for, universal basic incomes or anything, but these tokens and these things like this could eventually, for people, like you said, you could be earning more from these things than your actual job. Yep. And then how does that change our world when that all starts to happen, and it'll be really amazing.
It'll be an amazing place to live, an amazing place to exist. Shit, I had the Steem white paper up. I was going to go put a link to it, or I'm sorry, the SMT white paper. And somehow I knocked it off of my SMT white paper. This is a bit of a pain, but I can go put this thing in here. But that's the SMT white paper. I think you still have to you got to build it. Why they don't just have a fucking PDF of this thing, I don't know. But yeah, you can. There's a white paper. It's 60 pages. It's a bit of a monster.
Yeah, Andrarchy just posted a video a couple of days ago too, and I think it was basically called, SMTs in 5 minutes. How to kind of get a little basic understanding of it. And not that I'm an expert on it whatsoever, because I'm definitely not. But it seems like they're kind of taking the aspect of what Ethereum seems to do, where people need Ethereum to do the things on the Ethereum blockchain, and that's what this will be for the Steem blockchain. Yep. Is from what I understood it, these companies are going to need the bandwidth from the Steem blockchain, and in order to get that bandwidth, they have to have Steem power, right? Is that kind of how that works? From what I understood it, anyway. Maybe I could be wrong,
it doesn't. It barely costs anything to get your token here. I think it's like 1 Steem or 10 Steem. I mean, it's not released yet, so whatever they say, it isn't necessarily it until it's done. I did just find the link. That's the white paper in a PDF. 60, really, it's a light read. Everybody will enjoy it. Thrilling from start to finish. But there's the SMT white paper. You can go read that and figure out how this is going to work. And yeah, it's basically going to turn Steem into Ethereum, except that our starting point for our platform design will allow us to scale 300x, whereas and we're already in front of Ethereum many of the time, and they're already done with how much they can grow. We haven't even really started to try to optimize the block. Like, there's a lot of things we could do on the front end and the back end to make this thing. Our starting point is quite healthy because we can grow 300 times, and without any technological challenges, we'll still be functioning exactly as we are. So we're in a good spot right now.
Yeah, it seems from what I've read too that's the general consensus that I'm getting from a lot of people, is that, you know, these other coins and other platforms were the first ones. You know, that's why they're out front and center, getting all the publicity, all these things, because they were out there more or less first and whatnot. And, you know, hopefully here comes Steem roaring in with an improved system that hopefully, you know, in our opinion, of course, will eventually catch up to these other platforms, or maybe even overtake them. Who knows?
Yeah, I think we're going to have to, because at some point you're going to get sick and tired of buying your crypto kitty and having it sent back to you, or the payment doesn't go through, and like a million different messages telling you this can't go through. I mean, like, I bought a little bit of EOS, and I sold it, and the first time that I shipped it, it didn't go through. Like, there's a lot of challenges over there to having a completely congested blockchain that, frankly, even though it's sort of unpopular to begin with, and we're using this delegated proof of stake, and people are not super happy with it from the Bitcoin world, I think it's going to prove to be a far superior method to do this. And as a consequence, I think we're going to, I don't know if we're necessarily going to tear other people down, but we are going to shoot up to the top, because honestly, we're like of the guys that are out there, we're really the only ones that are like a functional currency. I mean, yeah, Lumens was pretty easy, maybe Ripple too. There are others that are good, but 3-second transactions, and you can send it to main event or aggroed rather than HJ1526 8B0. Like, it's just, there's so much good stuff for this.
Yeah, and then of course you just have everything else that we all know and love about Steemit, the blogging platform, the communities. That's all in there already, in addition to everything you just said. Yeah. So just think about it. You know, all these good positives. I really don't even have any negatives to say about Steemit. It used to be, oh, the website's crashing all the time and I can't post, and that went on for a little while, of course. But it seems like that stuff has kind of calmed down, and it's much more stable now. And I really haven't had any complaints about Steemit at all lately.
Yeah, my only one is the distribution. Having a handful of people have access to Steem at the beginning, having mining, and then doing a platform stake-weighted inflation so that the people that had the most got the most. Those days were pretty insane. And so I'm not a super big fan of that. Although, frankly, somehow this whole thing has been working out pretty well, because despite the fact that Steemit has 70 million Steem in there, they used to have an even higher percentage of ownership than what they do now. So they have something like 25% ownership of the block. I think at one point it was 40%, and that was making me totally insane. But somehow either linear rewards or just delegation, maybe this might be heresy, but even maybe some of the bid bots are helping distribution too. It's fascinating, but man, they don't own as much as they used to, and I was sort of shocked and pleased by that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like things are progressing. We're getting into we're going to be entering into a new year. We've come a long way in 2017. I mean, I joined in May, so I haven't even been here the whole year. But in even just the time from May to now, there's been so many changes already for the positive, and we're just getting started, like you said. And so it really is exciting to be a part of all of this and to be here in these early stages, because we can look back on this, and say, oh, well, I remember when the Steem It website was just this blue bar at the top, and it was super basic, and we didn't even have cover photos.
Back in my day, we didn't have resteams.
We didn't have night mode.
You had to go look at somebody else's post if you wanted to see their stuff.
Yeah, and so it's just been an amazing journey this whole year, to see how it's grown. And of course, we had MSP get created and MSP waves and all these other things, and it's been really an amazing year. Looking back, it seems like an eternity. It's only been like 7 or 8 months or something, and it seems like forever. It seems like this has been going on for so long.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think people would be shocked to know that Minnow Support is a 6-month-old organization.
Right.
How many organizations start with absolutely fucking nothing, and then grow to have hundreds of thousands of dollars of assets that they're controlling, and grow to 5,500 people in such a short amount of time? I mean, I'm a little bit desensitized to it, but if I stop and think about it, it's like, holy shit, what have we done here? This is totally amazing.
Yeah, and hopefully this is just a sign of things to come.
Yeah.
This is just one project that was created from Steem.
If you
just imagine what could happen.
If you're listening to this show, you are an early adopter. Sometime after Hard Fork 20 is released, and we start getting a lot more migration, and the stories from David and Brian that start with, I told my audience to come join here, and a lot of them came back to me with what the hell, this is taking days if not weeks to join. That's dumb. Those days are going to be over, and we can start onboarding people rapidly. We're gonna grow, and we're gonna grow hard, and it's gonna be pretty intense and pretty awesome to be here.
Now, one thing I don't totally understand, Aggro, and you might be able to help me on this, is so there's only so much reward pool that's given out every day, right? It's a limited amount.
Yeah, I'm actually having some not ethical, but mathematical questions about that right now, because so we have 260 million Steem in circulation, and it's based off of a 10% inflation. So every year, it's not actually 10%. It goes down a little bit each year. But right now, there's a 26 million Steem that are going to be produced this year, roughly. And that comes out in the post rewards. So basically, you take 26 million, you divide it by 365, and that's how much is available for rewards on any given day. What happens experimentally, and when you run that, it's a little different, but that's, if I needed some quick back of the envelope math, it's that. Although I think our market cap also plays into that. So I have to go revisit that. This thing is a complicated monster.
It is.
And people that are if you don't get it, you're an idiot. I'm thinking of one person in particular. That's a really asshole perspective. This place is really complicated, and I'm a PhD chemist, and I'm still scratching my head at times of there's math that's built into this that I don't understand, because it's that complicated. And if a PhD chemist can't get it, and you have an associate's degree in, mechanics, or being a mechanic or something, it's not, you're not an idiot for not totally understanding it. This thing is hard.
And so why I asked that question was, somebody had the argument of more people joining Steem It is a bad thing because there's only so much rewards out there. They were like, well, if millions of people join, then that means that's, the reward pool is going to have to get split, a million different ways, and that's going to be less for everybody, and that's a bad thing.
Well, there's truth to that.
I don't know how to have that conversation with somebody.
This is part of what I just spoke about with David. From a Steem-only perspective, that is entirely true. There's only 26 million Steem, and we're going to have to chop it up, and if you chop it up between 500,000 accounts, that will be more per person than if you chop it up to 5 million accounts. So that argument is actually true, but that is only in a vacuum where you're only considering Steem. What you then also have to do is say, well, Steem isn't just Steem. We're all living in these fiat worlds too. And if millions of people all start using and transacting in Steem and they all want Steem, yes, there's going to be fewer Steem to go around, but every single Steem you get is going to be worth a lot more. I mean, you
Right.
don't lament Bitcoin because there's only 20 million of them. You're like, oh, well, the value's going up per Bitcoin. So all I care, like, I'm happy that I have 0.1 Bitcoin. That's amazing. I got tons of money. You know, you're now happy with a fraction of the coin rather than saying, you know, well, I only got, you know, right now, if you have 5,000 Steem power, you're a Minnow, but in, 10 years, that might be the new class of dolphin, or like, you're going to be doing better when we have to split this more ways.
Yeah, and that's how I would have said it too. So I was just kind of curious if that was the case, and yeah, because I mean, eventually, if one Steem goes to X number of dollars, then yeah, if you only got rewarded one Steem for a post, well, maybe that one Steem might be worth $50 or $100 someday if there's 10 million people on Steam it or something, So yeah, I was just kind of curious how that worked and how that would work with a big influx of more people joining. So
yeah, you're going to get a fraction of a Steem and you're going to be thrilled. It'd
Right.
be like getting a fraction of a Bitcoin and you'd be like, holy shit, 0.1 Bitcoin, that's fucking awesome. You're going to do the same with Steem, where it's like, when our value is actually appreciated by the investor community, and it seems like we are already experiencing some of that as we watch this thing moon a little bit. Yeah, you're going to be like, holy shit, I got, at one point it'll be, I got 10 SPD, and then you're going to be like totally thrilled with 5 SPD, and then you're going to be amazed that you even have 1 SPD from a post reward because it's going to be worth that much money.
Yeah, and hopefully that scalability and everything will be a good thing as more and more people join. I just really hope it continues to grow, and like I said, we don't lose that community aspect in the process, but I don't think we will. It seems like the majority of the people who are here and that are becoming community leaders and moderators and things like that, they're the people who believe in those the peace, abundance, and liberty beliefs, just like the Minnow support believes in. And that seems to be the bulk of the people. And so hopefully that will continue.
Yeah, I think we're all going to be financially motivated to stick around. And I think we're all going to be like, why go anywhere else? The outside terrestrial world is shitty compared to this place. And I mean like the whole Steem ecosystem. And maybe you got to help find like a better pocket to be in if you're unhappy where you're at. But there's just so much good stuff to this.
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to encounter people that you may or may not agree with. That's just inevitable. It doesn't matter what group you join. There's always going to be at least one person that maybe you don't get along with or something. But don't let that ruin it for you either, is what I try to tell people. I sometimes see people get into a little bit of drama with one other user, and then they say, oh, well, I'm going to leave this particular Discord server or that particular Discord server because of that one person. And I would definitely tell people don't do that, because there's thousands of people out here. It's no different than in life. Don't let one person ruin your day, that type of thing. Certainly just move on and try to get past it, because there's a lot more here than just, one person's, opinion of something. So don't let that get you down.
Yeah, so Minnow's asking me, hey, what's up with I got a post, is it still on trending? Yeah, it's still the number 1 on trending. So I got a post that's on trending that's about creating a worker proposal system where, one of my biggest beef with all of this network is that way too much of the Steem is in the hands of way too few people. That my data is a little bit old, but it was something like 25% of the accounts, 25 accounts controlled something like 93% of the Steem. And that made me quite upset, because that's not a distribution that I want to support. And one of the things that made it the worst aspect of that entirely was that there was stake-weighted inflation. So right now there's inflation, and it mostly goes to content creators, and it mostly goes to commenters. It's something like 80% goes to those two groups, and that's phenomenal. But when we were doing this massive inflation before, the platform wasn't distributing it that way. They were looking at, okay, who's got the most stake here, and we're going to give them more. And that to me was infuriating. That's what drove our price down to 7 cents. That's all the shit that we've been climbing out of. That was a miserable experience and total shit. So we stopped having like 100% inflation, which is what we had. And we also moved it more towards content creators and curators. But we still have, mathematically, the input right now is 15% is still, of the inflation, 15% of that is stake weighted, meaning that it's going to the largest accounts. And effectively, because of math and really complicated things in here, right now I think it's about 7%. Let me go look on SteemDB. SteemDB.com, get rid of that. Last time I checked this, which was just a day or two ago, it was at 7%. So mathematically, it's supposed to be at 15%, but it's really only at 7% or so. And I'll see this whenever SteemDB loads. Yeah, it's at 7%, is going to the richest people on the platform. And I made a proposal that's basically like, hey, let's stop giving these 25 accounts more and more Steem. Instead, the two options that I would see are, let's stop giving it to them, period, or let's reroute it. And we can either reroute it towards, the authors and the curators, and I could actually totally live with that. But we could also create a worker proposal system where people that were building things on the blockchain would get paid for that. And we could go take this money from platform inflation, which I think is a horrible, horrible, totally undemocratic, shitty system, and I despise it. And it's created the worst part of our platform. And we could instead pool that money and put it to good use. So I'm okay with it going to just going back to basically everybody but the already biggest whales, which is basically just shoving this back into Steem It Inc., and I'd prefer it not do that. And I would even be happy with a worker proposal system that is specific to Steem. And maybe because of some of the criticism, I have to start with a smaller portion and maybe not take all of it, but just shrink it down by half and plug that into the worker proposal system. I don't really know, but that one piece of this place I hate. And I don't even think it's effective. Like that it's a small percent of inflation to anybody but those mega whales, and those mega whales are already here and not going anywhere. What we really need is new people, and we need a better distribution. So let's go move that money around to lots of smaller accounts and help people out. So that was my proposal. That was my answer to Minnow's question, and it all has to go do with this stake-weighted inflation, which is a horribly undemocratic bullshit thing for us to be doing, and we're still doing it. We're not doing it at 100% inflation, but we're doing it at 15% and an effective rate of about 7%, and that's like $5 million. So let's go give that $5 million to somebody else.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Yes, absolutely.
And they will kill you, just message me. So hopefully they're going to be in the audience here, and hopefully they can come join us. So let me... I know that Sir Lunch is here. I'd be interested in having Sir Lunch on. Is They Will Kill You here. Man, I got a couple people that I want to have on. I'm happy to keep going. I know it's already 11 o'clock and I'm going to keep talking, but I want to get more people on the show. And very specifically, I want to get They Will Kill You on here, because that was a scheduled call and they represent a 1 million subscriber group. Okay, so Maine, I think I'm going to pull you off. But this has been a very pleasant and wonderful conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Aggro. Appreciate it.
All right, let me go. I'm going to pull Chew Girl on real quick, and then I know that Inquiring Time wants to come on. I just want to see where the "they will kill you" thing starts, and I want to. I think that's all going to work out okay. So Inquiring Times, hang on just a second. I promise I'll get to you tonight. And let me go pull Chew Girl on for. I kind of want to hear an update on her journey here. So. Chew Girl, you're for the audience. You're listening to MSP Waves Radio. I'm your host, Agrode, currently Witness 11, and I go by the name Skanky J when hosting the show. Chew Girl, you are on air with us. Can you give us a quick hi and just make sure you're on?
Hello.
It's so wonderful to hear your voice. Now you're in Brisbane, so. Brisbane. Sorry. One of the last times that I spoke to you, you were not there. You were in South America. What the hell is going?
Last week when I spoke to you, I had finished it's 2 flights, and I'd done the Panama to LA leg, and I was in an Emirates lounge and just killing. I had about 5 hours to kill. But originally, like when I asked you, can we play dice now? Because I think my flight's boarding in about half an hour or something. It's because I was still on like the old time zone. I hadn't updated it to the LA time zone. So I actually had like 5 hours to kill. So I could have like listened longer. Well, I actually did listen to your whole show, which I never do anymore because, I'm in the same time zone as you at the moment because Panama is on basically New York time in your winter. And it just goes way too late for me. I'm a morning person, not a night person. So that's the first time that I've listened to your whole show in ages. And today it's now like 2 p.m. So I'm not going to bed anytime soon. So I can sit here all afternoon.
All right. So I want to finish this a little bit, but I also see that They Will Kill You is now in the waiting room. So that was another scheduled call, and I want to make sure that we're able to have that conversation. So let's do this for just a couple more minutes, Chew, and then if we want, we can bring you on after They Will Kill You comes on here. But what's the update? What do we need to know? What are you working on? And
okay. Well, basically, I've been massively shit at Steem It for the last week because my routine is just now completely out the window. Plus, I went on holidays up to Cairns for 4 days. So I was just enjoying pool life and hanging out with my friend. So basically, I've done nothing. I have no idea what anybody's been posting about, but I'll catch up at some point. I'm house sitting today, so hopefully this week I'll get more into a routine. I did manage to get a post out yesterday because I want to do a meetup while I'm here. So I've organized that for the 30th of December. And that's a Saturday, and I've got at least one person coming so far. I've had 3 others tell me that they want to come. And then I'm trying to get either Ozbitbank or Crystal to come because they live in Brisbane. And I have suggested that they just either do a dice bitches or a rock, paper, scissors, and the winner gets to come hang out with me at the pub for the afternoon, and the other one has to stay home and look after the kids. So hopefully one of them will be able to come along. And so that's the main thing I'm trying to organise at the moment, because if I have to sit in the pub by myself, I won't be very happy.
No.
And Adelaide had a meetup in November, and Matt Clark is a freaking star. Like, the amount of people that he seems to be able to recruit from Adelaide just blows me away. So he had a meetup, and like about 10 people turned up. And then Brisbane organised a meetup. Like, that one was on the Sunday, and then there was a Brisbane one on the Saturday, and no one turned up. So it's like, come on, Brisbane, stop being so shit. Like, we can't let Adelaide beat us all the time. And then yesterday, when I was doing my post, I also noticed that Matt Clark is doing like an awesome little Christmas thing whereby, like, I don't know if other cities are the same, but like all the capital cities here have like big, massive Christmas trees in the center of town. And he has a selfie thing going at the moment. It's called, I think it's Under a Big Tree. And if you take a photo of yourself with a present, you have to bring your own present, he will delegate 500 SP to you for the next 12 months. And he's giving that away to 20 people. So he's managed to get like all these newbie Adelaide people on there, and they're all getting 500 SP. And it's really, really cool. So
Matt Clark seems like totally good people. I'm a Matt Clark fan.
Yeah, so because I went looking for his post to like put it into mine, going, "Come on, Brisbane, don't be so shit." And then I noticed that he'd done all these re-steams of this under a big tree, and I'm like, what is this he's doing now? And yeah, I think it's a really cool idea. So if you're, well, I don't know who's listening from Australia. I did put a thing in the Team Australia chat room before, but if any of you Radelaide people are listening, go and take a photo of yourself under the Christmas tree and get 500 SP for the next 12 months.
Yeah, my Boston pride is kicking in here. I'm a little overpromised on my Steem power. I'm working on MSP curation, and then actually one of my next things I want to do is create MSP audience, and it would be a way to go give back to all the people that participate in our shows. I'd like to start adding percentages of auto votes to all the people that are showing up here. So I'm not, I'm inspired to go, like I could go easily pick up a couple 500 SP delegations, maybe not for the full year, but I could do that for like a 90-day through block trades. That sounds kind of fun to go think of that. I've been trying to think about what I'm going to do for Christmas for everybody. I think a scavenger hunt is a easy no-brainer for me, although...
You know I love scavenger hunts.
Well, I like the one that I'm doing. I know I keep repeating the same format, but, it's a lot of these things are designed with my professor mind in mind, and I'm thinking like, what do my students need to do to find success here? And it's just trying to encourage that good behavior. And I don't know. I want to do something. It'll probably be that, but maybe having a delegation and a Christmas tree and invite your friend, and I'll go buy you guys a delegation for each of you for the start of the year or something. I could be down for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure there's some good ideas. Like I just thought the Christmas tree one was like a really innovative thing as well, and he's like targeting Adelaide people. Like he's always trying to get more Adelaide people on there, and I need to go back this week and spam them all to join Team Australia. But yeah, like he's just so good at getting real life people in. Like I talk to people about it and they're like, "Oh, what? Blogging?" Yeah. Whereas he actually gets people to sign up. So
get his pitch. Figure out what his check is. Or figure out.
Well, he hasn't actually made a post about it, so I don't know how people found out about it because there's no post. And then he sent me a message yesterday saying when they're all taken, I think he's got a few spots left, then he'll write a post about it. So I don't even know, like maybe because they all kind of know each other in real life, like it's a bit of an Adelaide thing. Maybe he just told them, and now it's kind of spread throughout Steem It.
He's a funny guy too. He comments on some of my posts, and I have like a friendly rivalry with Acid Yo, and I was making some posts of like it was one of my follower ones. It was a milestone of I hit 7,000 people, which to me was like a huge deal. And he's like, "Oh, I remember when Acid Yo hit this a while back." I'm like, "Oh, you savage bastard!" Just mocking me, mocking my accomplishments against my arch nemesis, my dear friend Acid Yo.
I think that is a pretty Aussie thing to do as well, though.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I love it. Like, the best way to show some love sometimes is by dropping a little hate.
It's by taking the piss.
Yeah. All right, so I don't mean to be rude here, but I got They Will Kill You in the waiting room, and I want to make sure that he gets some time on air because he's got this fantastic audience, and I want to make sure that we can talk to him about his YouTube crew.
Okay,
that sound all right? Well, Chu, you are phenomenal. You are such a kind, caring, charismatic, world-traveling crypto enthusiast, and it is an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for spreading your cheer and your stories.
Thank you for having me again. Hopefully, I'll win something this time, since I'm on a losing streak now.
It's been a little bit. Your hot streak is over, but we'll get you. Yeah. We'll get you something. All right, Chu.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so my next guest here is, he's locked in that channel. There we go. My next guest here is a YouTuber that runs a 1 million subscriber YouTube channel called They Will Kill You. And it's a series of kind of top 5 posts or top 5 stories, top 5 animals that might kill you, top 5 gangsters in the world, top 5, that sort of like top 10 list or top 5 list post. It has 1 million views. He's recently joined, I don't know, it's not that recent, but it's been a couple months now since they've joined the Steem community. And I'm very interested in how we bridge the gap between the Steem audience, the YouTube audience, using the tools in the ecosystem of DLive and DTube and DSound. And frankly, I'm just really excited to have They Will Kill You on the show. And thanks for being here.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for having me on.
So how did you get started with your YouTube experience? I remember a little bit about a story of some flatmates that you were involved with. How did They Will Kill You even get going?
We're living in a house with a bunch of other poker players in Las Vegas. Let's see, they're all poker players or former poker players. Got kind of sick of it. One of them had done well on YouTube, and he had that as a sort of side passive income. Looking to get out of poker as well. I was working like a full-time job related to poker, and then was playing like 30 hours on the side, pretty much full-time, to get out of it. And so he said, okay, let's partner up on YouTube. I've been doing really well. I'll help you get started. If you need me to stake you or anything, let me know. And I think we have the potential to just kill it. This guy, his name is Adam, and he runs Epic Wildlife. I hit 1 million subscribers like maybe a year ago. At the same time, our other roommates got started. There's Renee, who has the Steem It blog World 5 list. He started about a year before me. I got into it, and then we all just kind of pooled our resources and directed traffic from one channel to another. And before you know it, like we all hit the 100K mark. Cool little YouTube plaque, and then now each of our channels is closing in on 1 million. So we helped each other out, not just with traffic, but like with outsourcer resources and freelancers and all that, so we can each build our teams and just scale from there.
Yeah, so one of the things that I keep noticing is that, it's not just a one-person gig. It's usually not just like, when you start, it's just you in your office and you're chatting away or something, or you on your computer gaming or something. But by the time you have a real audience, like, it's a production. And so part of what, I've been mentioning this Steem panel discussion designed for other media outlets to come here and start thinking about how they could utilize our network to make something like their YouTube life functional. And more of what I'm noticing is that this isn't just a one-person job. This is a full-blown team of people working to make a broadcast network, or like a one single channel focus turn into like a daily show content that keeps people coming back for more.
Yeah, that's very much the case, especially since YouTube's requirements in order to succeed are getting a lot tougher. When I was starting out, all you really need to do is create a 2 to 3 minute video, because the only metric that was important back then was audience retention. What percentage of a video is someone going to watch? If you could get like above the 60% mark, then you're really good. Now they've switched it over to total watch time, important metric. How long of a video are you watching? Because that conversely states that the longer you are on the platform, the longer you are on a video, the longer you spend on their platform, which means the more ads they can deliver, the more money you can make, and the more money YouTube can make. So it's very much revolving around of it, which kind of sucks. YouTube's incentivizing their creators to increase watch time by allowing them to place multiple ads on videos over 10 minutes long, so that the ad triggers, it gets delivered, and YouTube and Google make more money. And because of that, going to your original question, sorry, go ahead.
Well, is that also impacting you as a creator? Like, at least if you're making longer content, are you seeing more personal rewards from that?
Yes. No. Okay, so like to answer your original question, like teams now set up, because to make a 10-minute video as opposed to like a 2-minute video requires more resources. It requires more brain power behind the script writing, voiceover, editing, all that stuff. And like when I started out, I was just doing everything on my own. I would just research everything, write my own scripts that would be like 500 words long, record it on my own, and edit it on my own. But now that the requirements are so much more strict, then you need a team out there to delegate the resources. Otherwise, you're just going to be spending all day and all night creating one video. But let's see, revenue. It's maybe a little better, but you have to realize now that production costs are a lot higher. It all depends on the season too. Like right in November, December, because of the holidays, advertisers are willing to pay more for ads. See more of an increase these months rather than in January or in the summer. Hard to say. It's more so season dependent rather than.
So how does?
And also,
sorry, you were cutting in and out. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. Am I back?
Yeah, you're okay. There's a little bit of lag. You're not in the States or Europe, right? You're still out in Asia.
Yeah, exactly. So my internet's supposed to be really good, but it says I only have 2 out of 3 bars.
Okay. Well, I'm pleased to have you both. I'm pleased to have the whatever connection we have. I'm glad to have it. So from how does Steem then fit into what you're doing? Are the rewards here enough to be attractive? Are they compelling? Are they too small? Do you have the resources that you need to be successful here? What do we as a community need to do better to help you be successful in this community?
Okay, so I originally got into Steem just because I was messing around with crypto. The rewards definitely aren't as good. And I have a lot of respect for people who can consistently rewards like Sweets J and even Alice Yummy Food. She's coming out to Thailand, and I was talking to her, and I was surprised that she's not doing this full time because she's really killing it. But with Steem, it's different because you're earning on your blog from all the upvotes up until 7 days when it's the block is minted, right?
Yeah, it takes seven days for payouts.
Yeah, exactly. And then after the 7 days, you're not monetizing anymore, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So with YouTube, it's more passive. It's continuously monetized, which we'll talk about. I'm sure you want to talk about in a second. It's continuously monetizing, and you might have a video from 2 or 3 months ago that randomly blows up and starts getting a lot of views. So there's no time limit as far as the money that you're making on a specific video. It's hard for me to see how you can live off of Steem It, although I know some people who do. I would say that if the monetization extends towards an indefinite amount, then it'd be more realistic. It's just hard for me right now. As far as resources goes, to succeed, I've really been wanting to direct my YouTube audience over to Steem It more, and I have mentioned it in the descriptions in some of my videos, but it's just the onboarding process is a little bit difficult. I signed up. It took 2 weeks to get approved, my account, and by then I almost just got discouraged and was like, okay, it's not worth my time anymore. I think that's the main step, and once we can get that improved, then it'll be easier, way easier to direct the YouTube audience over here. Also, DTube too, I see has a lot of potential, but it's been very buggy when I've tested it out. So I think once they work that out, then it can blow up as well.
Yeah, well, those are good complaints to have, because the folks from DTube are saying that it's getting one heck of a lot better, and the folks from Steem It are saying that HF20 and Hard Fork, the next version of our software is coming out, and it's meant to address onboarding, and that should be live, I think, within sometime in January. So we're not we're not years away from this. That's been the highest priority of Steem It for the last little bit to get that done. And frankly, Brian Turner, who is on, who has 200,000 subscribers, followed by David Pacman, who has 400,000, followed by you with I think you have over 1 million. Is that correct?
No, just under 1 million.
Just under 1 million.
970,000.
So, and I'll round it to 1 million for now, but between the three of you, each one of you talked about that as a major limiting step to go get people onto the platform. So to know that is literally the next thing that we as a platform are fixing, and to know that the DTube group is making sure that, what started as, here's kind of a pet project and here's a way to get this out here, but now it's supposed to be a lot faster and easier to use. And I think that they'll keep getting continuous improvement on that, because they are getting paid pretty well. I think the two biggest concerns that you just laid out for us, I think with sometime within 2018, we will have solved.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for that. I do think there's a lot of potential to it, and the decentralization world and blockchain world in general is going to revolutionize society as a whole and how we conduct business and entertainment. That's why I think DTube is a huge stepping stone. One thing I wanted to address, though, that I was wondering if you knew about, good about copyright infringement. I've seen my videos straight up ripped and placed on other channels, and I'll file a form and it'll be taken down within 24 hours. But I've seen on Steem It and DTube, people will just copy and paste articles on their blogs. And then I think on DTube, I saw someone rip a straight up Hollywood movie and put it up on their DTube. So how does the team plan on addressing copyrighted stuff like that?
Yeah, I think mostly the idea is to flag the hell out of it.
Okay.
If we can make sure that the content rewards for that kind of stuff is $0, it certainly reduces the incentive to even try. So we have the platform has a robot called Cheetah, and Cheetah runs around and flags content that is plagiarized. And if they are plagiarizing more than once or twice or something, then it starts hitting them with major flags. And so they click people quickly find that there's very little financial incentive to just ripping off other people's works. And how they do that on YouTube, I'm actually less aware. I'm not sure that I know how that works. But the last post that I saw was basically, if this content is ripped, please don't upvote it because we don't want it to hit trending. We don't want stolen content on here. But it's decentralized. So, yeah, I mean, some of the challenge will be users need to make sure that they're not supporting people that are infringing on other people's creations.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I have noticed the cheetah bot, and I really do like that. So you're saying it's more of a autonomous, self-governing nature of blockchain.
Yeah, we as a platform have to make sure that we are not rewarding shitposters, scammers, and plagiarists. And that falls on all of us. And you're right. If we're not vigilant in that, we are not going to attract people that have content. But yeah, we got to make sure that those that are bringing novel content here are rewarded. And we have to be sure that those that are bringing plagiarized content are getting slapped down with large flags and big downvotes.
Okay, I see. Yeah, with DTube, I do believe there is a downvote function or flagging function, correct?
Yep.
Since it's tied in directly with Steem.
Correct. And you know, one of the other things that happens from that is that so DTube now has like 1 million Steem power under its belt. And so they actually have the ability to provide some pretty big upvotes on content. And I don't know if you're looking at Steem prices right now. They had just hit $15 or $16. It looks like they're back to $12.50 or something. But I think we're about to go get another surge. I mean, if we're thinking at, if we're seeing, so right now, if you look at your post rewards, you would have to multiply it by 5 to go figure out what that value is. Hagen, who's a pretty well-known trader on the platform, is predicting that SBDs will go up to around $30. If that happens, then I don't think it's exactly linear, but it's still the bulk of your liquid rewards. My guess is that you would then multiply what you see on the screen by 10 to 15. So, you know, if your post is $100, it would pay you $1,300 US. So, you know, part of what I don't understand is like how much a YouTube video actually makes. So like if you got something with, I guess it's no longer even views, right? You have to count by the hour. Like how much money would you make on a good video? You know, maybe within the first month or something. I mean, you don't need, what I'm really trying to figure out is like, look, if this platform can pay you $1,500 in a week for the one post that you made, is that enough to be attractive? Is that enough to make a financial difference? Or does it have to be substantially more than that? Or what's our target to make it so that a YouTuber would be like, well, to hell with YouTube, I can make X much more doing Steem, so I'm the F out of here.
Yeah, so $1,500 a week definitely is very good. I guess.
Well, I'm saying $1,500 for a post, right? Like David Pacman has some posts that are out here that are making $300 of post rewards, but with the SBD value high, he's getting $1,500 for those posts. Not even all week. He's making substantially more than that per week. Okay. And if SBDs keep going like I think they're about to go, if they actually hit $30, then your post rewards will be 10x, and his post won't be worth $1,500. It'll be worth $3,000. And like, if you could do a post and get paid $3,000 for the video that was part of that post, would that be enough for you to start thinking like, hey, I'm making more money on Steem than I am on YouTube, I should bring my audience over? Is that enough money, or is that like, how would that fit in?
Okay, so I Yeah, I think that's more than enough money, and obviously the more content you put up on Steam, you be making, if you can kind of be guaranteed that amount, just get that type of traction. The thing about that is that you always have to be posting, because after 7 days you're not monetizing anymore. I would say, yeah, if it's like it's anywhere between 700 to 1,000 per post that you're making, to consider it, and that might be worth 1,000. Would be the point where can consider saying screw it to YouTube and just doing Steam it full time.
So Minnow is working quite a bit with David Pakman, who has a audience of 400,000. He's sharing that the liquid rewards for, like, when all of David Pakman's post payout from this week, he's going to get paid $9,000 for this week alone. So that feels like, and that's before this SBD spike. So, you know, that seems like a bunch of money. I mean, if I take 9,000 and I multiply that by 52 times 52, that's $468,000 if you can keep that pace up. That's
like, yeah,
that seems worth it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
100%.
I mean, you have a fantastic audience of 1 million people, and you have friends with other millions. My guess is that if you did the same kind of scheme where you basically say, let's go, we're going to create all these stories, we're going to put this content out there, and we're going to keep sort of repeating this content around and around, that, hey, check out this Steem It post, check out this Steem It post. And if you guys kept sharing that, my guess is that you guys would find yourselves in the, well more than $100,000 category by the end of the year. And the other thing that I would add is that, like, so yeah, we don't typically have, you're right, you get money in June for the things that you did in January. But one of the things that won't happen for you is that your currency suddenly doubles. So, the Steem that you might have been stockpiling, we're at $2 Steem right now, or actually with the spike in place here, somebody just showed me that it's $2.40. It's been as high as $2.65. I mean, at some point a year from now, your Steem that you've collected is going to be worth $6, $10, $20. That's not going to happen to your US dollars. So yeah, you're definitely going to miss some money because you don't get rewards on older posts, although that is something that maybe the witnesses could address to help make the transition from YouTube here easier. But the other thing that'll happen that might well make up for that is that simply holding your Steem currency, it's likely to go up quite substantially in value, whereas your US dollars are very likely to go down in value.
Yeah, I agree. There's a huge value to be placed on that, and in a week is definitely very, very good.
So I
guess it's all relative, because okay, with our network, I'm part owner of several other channels, and we're making more than that. So, and with something that's passive, it's the opportunity is still higher with YouTube for me. But if you're coming from like a $4,000 a week job, then obviously like 9,000 is phenomenal, and I'm not trying to scoff on it or anything like that. It's very, very respectable.
Well, this is what I'm trying to price out. I'm trying to figure out, what do I need to do to bring you guys, like, where do we need to be at before this is attractive? And I think you're right that it depends on what your network is, what you own. There's not like one number that you could give me and say, Agrode, for a 1 million subscriber YouTube channel, this is what we make and this is what we have to do. But, I don't even have to necessarily I don't have to 100% take over from YouTube. If all I'm doing is making it so that you guys post some of your content here as sort of like this introductory thing, and you start like telling your audience, come check out my Steem, and maybe that's not everything that you're doing, but it becomes a growing part, and sort of as our currency goes up and you get a network and this whole thing kind of snowballs, more people come over. I can see it working that way. It wouldn't necessarily have to be, tomorrow we're going to cut ties with YouTube and we're going to do everything on Steem and build this thing from scratch. That isn't really the expectation, and I'm not even sure it's helpful to talk about it that way.
Yeah, no, that's and I never thought that was the expectation. The money to me was on Steem. It was never like it wasn't important to me, but I do think that to other people it is very important. I like about it, and like I said, it's all relative because like compared to what I'm making now, Steem seems very like it's still not viable for me. But, I know that people in third world countries, like, the Philippines has a big Steemit community. What they might be making on Steemit is life-changing. And that's what I think is important, is that you can help other people out to build sustainable lives working online, using the blockchain to their advantage. Let's see.
So we're gonna do a YouTube panel discussion. My tentative date for this is going to be January 13th. If we held this, it would be yesterday, 12 hours back on the 13th, meaning like 11 a.m. Right now it's 11:41. But if we did that, do you think you would be able to join us for that and maybe bring some of the other content creators on YouTube to share some of your experience, to share some of your concerns, to share some of the needs, and we can start framing a discussion around how do we pull big content creators from other platforms to here? What would you need to be successful? What do we as a platform need to do? And try to have a healthy discussion that way. Is that something you could join us for?
Yeah, 100%. And I'd love to get my friends on there. I do believe you started talking to Renee, correct?
Yeah, I have a short conversation with Renee. They basically said I'll try to reach out to you tomorrow. So Renee and I have connected. But I'm hoping that my personal goal is to try to get 5 million YouTube subscribers represented on this panel on Saturday, January 13th. That is my goal. So between some of you, David, and Brian, and your sort of friends and associated network, I think it's entirely possible. And then that starts looking like a real panel where, what you guys are telling us, I can take back to this broader community, take back to the witness community, and start advocating for some changes that would make you guys less think of this like, oh, well, I'm not sure that would do it, to at least thinking like, yes, and I need to make this part of my activities. And eventually, especially as the price rises for Steem, I want this to be YouTube who? Like, yeah, there's nothing but DTube and Steem for us right now. That's ultimately where I want to get to, but I know that there's going to be steps in the way, and I want to hear from you guys of what do you need to be successful, and what can I do to help get you there, and how does this platform need to change, or just tell us your experience and tell us how we can make this work.
Yeah, I'm all for the cause. I can definitely get Renee and the other guys on, so let's count us in. Okay,
so it's going to be what do you need for a time zone? Can I give you, it's going to be December 13th at 11 a.m. I'm sorry, January 13th. I'll go put this in a DM, but it's January 13th, 11 a.m. EST. So I sent that to you in a DM, and hopefully I can count on you for being there and count on a couple of your buddies to be there. We have a couple weeks to organize it, but I think that's going to be a pretty big event, and I'm throwing in an extra honorarium of 100 Steem per person that joins me with from their YouTube audience and having some conversation about this. So
Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. That sounds really great. Sounds like it could be very engaging and very. It'd be nice to hear all the other perspectives on it.
Well, look, I'm all about building community. So if there's a community of people that are trying to bring their YouTube audience here and can connect with one another and talk about that experience and just share, this thing is killing me. How do I do this? Or what did you do to solve that problem? Or here's a user question I can't answer. If like you guys had your own community here and a little bit of a network and a couple extra connections of other people trying to do it, I think that would help you all too. So I feel like there's a lot of overlap where bringing the YouTube audience in will make more people on the platform, which will ultimately raise the price of Steem, which will make it more attractive for you guys to be here. If you can all collaborate and work together, that might make it easier for everybody to transition here. You have your website. It sounds like we're going to get some gamers, some foodies, some fitness folks. It's going to be a nice mishmash of, we're entertainers in this world. It's not a single focus, but I think it's going to be a big deal for the platform to get to start getting that much exposure and that many sort of well-known YouTubers to talk about their experience here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm all for the cause. Like, I'm not, with anything that I said, I'm not trying to play down or downplay Steem it.
I didn't hear that at all. I wouldn't worry about that. I mean, we're talking about financial reality that like, I'm trying to not get too much in your business, but I'm trying to figure out what's it take to make it worthwhile. And then what do we have to do to get there? And I think you were having a very frank discussion with me about that. So thank you for letting me kind of, hopefully tactfully, maybe not as much as I would have hoped, but thank you for letting me tactfully kind of poke at that and start thinking about what we need to do as a platform. And I didn't, as like a representative of this platform, I want to be very clear. I didn't feel slighted or anything. I was very grateful for your honest, forthcoming, and respectful answers.
Yeah, no, it's my pleasure. Let's see, it's. I wish I could give more concrete figures, but with how things vary, very much so. Takeaway, and the biggest pointer to me, or the biggest factor to me, is that like YouTube income is more passive, and it grows more. Like I could easily take, 6 months off, making a consistent amount of money, whereas Steem it, I always have to consistently be blogging. But I remember like my first it made like over $3,000, which was huge, and compared to like one video, it might take a couple weeks for that to hit that point. So that's enormous. But like after the 7 days and you're not monetizing anymore, and just like YouTube, Steem it posts do fluctuate and vary with how much. So it's kind of an abstract question for me to ask, and I wish I could provide you more info, but I think you kind of understand like how difficult it may be, and I hope I answered it as good as I could.
No, you're fantastic. You have been a fantastic guest on the show. You are thoughtful, kind, and I'm grateful for your time. I'm looking forward to working with you. I'm hoping that we'll see more of your content on Steem, and I can help promote that and get that in front of the whale network that I know. And as your friends come on board, and as your crew starts migrating here, if not full time, at least a little bit, just dabbling, I'm looking forward to re-steaming them to my audience of 8,000 people here. Which, I know 8,000 is small from YouTube land, but all of these people can directly impact post rewards. So I don't know. I think we can help you guys, and I think you guys can help us. And I'm looking forward to exploring that in some more detail on January 13th. And in the meantime, if you would like to come back on to this show, I would love to keep having you. And if you have a couple of those buddies that might want to talk to me, I'm happy to bring them on too. And would be excited to continue this discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Before we end this, you said you were trying to help us out and get us more over to Steem, but I'm just wondering, like, what we can do, considering like the bugs that I was talking about. What can we do on our end to help improve the platform and raise awareness?
Well, I think there's a couple different ways to do that. David has been very active in terms of directly talking to his audience and saying, you guys need to come join Steem. And he had some additional side posts about explaining that. And so he was telling us that some of those had 20,000 views, which for him was pretty good in that time period, especially because they weren't like his main hard-hitting political interviews. They were this weird side thing about this cryptocurrency. So he was actually quite pleased by the reception that he got, even though it wasn't his main audience. It was getting some views. So and again, everybody's got a different platform and different things that they're doing. So these things may or may not make sense. But, at one sort of far extreme end is getting on camera and saying, please join Steem, please support us on Steem, please come over. That's one thing. I think like the low stakes version of that is like at the tail end of videos, just putting, subscribe, click here, look at that, click that. One of those being click the Steem thing. And I think, if you have an audience of 1 million people and, you get 200,000 views and 1% of those people click it, that's now 2,000 people. And if half of those folks come join, from that one video, you might get 1,000 new people that come join this platform just by telling them click that button. Like, that's pretty remarkable. For us, we just hit 500,000 accounts today. So 1,000 person increase is not a meaningless amount to us. So, at the very small end, put a link in a YouTube thing, put the subscribe here or check it out here in the actual video. And if you want to go whole hog, then, you or one of the other groups or somebody can start getting on there, or like you're doing with, a crypto channel, or I don't know, just ways. We need exposure. What we need is other people telling folks, hey, go look at the Steem thing. And it sounds like we need to help build a better financial payment system for you guys. And I'll go take that back after this conversation and go bring that to the other witnesses.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, like I said, though, the biggest thing is the onboarding process. So I think what would help too is not just blasting people with Steem it, join here, but like maybe on not just how to sign up, but how the whole system works. Because there is a learning curve behind all this.
Oh, it's huge. It's a monster. That's why you're in a group that's called the Peace, Abundance, and Liberty Network. But this thing is really, one of the main aspects of it is the Minnow Support Project, which is this big teaching project. It's a monster to go bring everybody up to speed.
Yeah, it really is, especially since it's blockchain based and the rewards fluctuate, and there's 100% upvoting or 10% upvoting. I mean, I'm still learning it. So yeah, one thing I do want to do though is, like, we do have that crypto channel that we started up, Crypto Coin Consultants, and it's all crypto related. And I do see myself doing like a step-by-step tutorial video with screen share on how the Steem blockchain or the Steem blockchain works, and not just like the sign up process, but everything about it, because there's a lot of FAQs on it right now, but some people just don't bother to read through the whole thing, and it really takes your hand and guide you through every step of the way in order to get familiar with the platform. So
well, when you make that, please DM me, and I will not only help get eyes on it through the accounts that I own and operate, I will go pitch that to some of the whales and try to get you some extra money for having done it and shared it with your audience.
Hello?
Oh, you missed it? Are you there?
Yeah, I should get to share it with my audience,
yeah.
You said?
Well, no, I was going to say if you can, if you send that to me as a message, any of those videos that are kind of tutorial style, I'll get as many eyes on it as I can, and I will also directly pitch it to individual whales to try to make sure that you're getting paid for that content.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, like I said, the money isn't an issue, but I'm pretty excited to do it because it can be pretty confusing. Like I got my mom on the platform, but I really had to sit down with her and screen share with her several times, how to go about things, how to navigate things, all that stuff. Even the reward system, that's pretty intricate in itself. But I'm excited to do it, not just to help people out, but also to raise awareness, because this whole project of Steem is just going to grow and take off from here. To the moon, as they say.
To the moon. Well, that's a great way to end this conversation. It's so fantastic to have you on. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me. I'm looking forward to talking to you and your crew on January 13th. And please message me, and let's hopefully get this whole thing off the ground. And I'll do whatever I can to support you guys, and I'll pitch it to a bunch of whales to make sure that they're listening, and that we as a platform start making changes to make it so that this place looks lucrative and is lucrative for other media personalities to come here and bring their audience and bring their exposure to the Steem platform.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for having me on. This was really fun. And if there's anything I can do, if there's anything I can help anyone out with, please DM me as well. I really enjoyed this, and count me and Renee in for sure for January 13th. I'll talk to the other guys as well.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks so much. It's been a pleasure to have you. You've been listening to
thanks, Agro. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. You've been listening to you've been listening to MSP Waves. I'm your host, Agro. We were just listening to the voice, or the project leader behind the YouTube channel They Will Kill You, and it's fantastic to have him on air. So thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
I'm going to pull in 2 more people, and we're going to call it a night. I'm going to go with Inquiring Times first. And then we're going to go talk to Sir Lunch, the host, and then we're going to close this bad boy for the evening. So here is. Oops, I'm about to grab DJ Body Backfill. I'm getting loopy tired. But Inquiring Times, are you there? Hello, Inquiring Times. I just saw you type. You're on air, buddy.
Oh, hey, you pulled me in.
I did pull you in. You're listening to MSB Waves. I'm your host, Skanky J, also known as Agroed Witness 11. I have with me a founder of another Discord channel, a consummate greeter. He's currently running a series of contests as sort of like welcoming new members. I have with me Inquiring Times. How are you?
Sorry, I just had to switch my settings because I'm on my phone and the push to talk doesn't work too good on the phone.
Well, no worries. How are things? What's going on in your world?
Oh man, well, I'm on the road again, and I just spent like 8 hours in Wegmans judging this welcoming contest, the round 1, which that post mooned, and got a lot of links, and I had to read them all because the idea was submit your favorite guides or Steem it, and then you'd get you have the potential to get 50.5 Steem, and just sort of trying to crowdsource the information and the welcoming efforts.
Selfishly, did people link my explain Steem it to me like I'm 5 post?
You know what, Aggroed? Nobody linked your post.
Oh, killer.
I tell you what, I'm doing a follow-up post, and I'm going to put like the highlights reel of the links submitted and some of my own ideas of what are good guides. So if you drop that to me in the direct message,
I'm being selfish. I was really happy with this post. It seemed to have done pretty well. Explain, Steam it like I'm 5. Yeah, here's my post.
I mean, you don't have to drop it in the DM unless you really want to. I could just go find it.
It's 5 months old now.
That's pretty old.
No, I'm sorry, it's 7 months old. So people may not have seen it, but it's got 1,200 views. I mean that's not bad considering that old content kind of gets a backseat a little bit.
Well, but if it's good, then it can get a lot of views.
Yeah. It's good for 7 months ago. I hadn't even started my witness campaign yet, so this thing is actually doing pretty well.
Yeah, that's wild. I honestly, I manage a couple of Discord servers. I'm launched news team, and or heading up projects is bonkers, and it's really hard to stay on it and get people who are motivated to stay on it. So got to give you props for what you've done with MSP.
It's a monster. I mean, I love my crew, but Steem It in general is hurting cats. Minnow Support Project is often hurting cats, but I work with some of the best people around. These guys are my family, and I love them dearly. So I'm looking forward to keep growing and looking forward to helping more people. And thanks for recognizing. Coming from you, it matters, right? Like some people are like, "Hey, thanks for what you're doing," and they might recognize that it's hard, but they don't quite know what it's like to try to run a 5,400 person group or 5,600 or whatever we're at.
Oh man, trying to manage my blog and then trying to get people to go on along with the ideas. And it's not that people recognize that the ideas are good, but it's like, oh, there's a squirrel, and then they're off in the next county. So,
and this is a volunteer organization. I'm not paying people. I mean, I have a little bit of steam power tucked away to go help folks, but it's not millions of dollars that folks are getting. I mean, it's tricky to do this on a completely volunteer basis, and I'm lucky to have the people around me that are so phenomenal.
Well, you mentioned a couple earlier, Cubby, Shane, Disco,
Creamy,
Shane, Disco, and Cubby, of course. You've got, and I'm not just going to try to name all of the superstars of MSP because there are a lot of them.
We got a lot of them. I can see on the right, senior moderator Rondon. I mean, Ron freaking owns the MSP Waves radio station. This guy has built us up. He's keeping us going. I mean, these are the people that help run it. But even our listeners, even our people that are in here, Lexiconical is a freaking genius. We got great.
Oh, yeah.
We got great people. Menno being one of our newer ones, and Stace. I mean, we have some really smart, really caring, really passionate people. Jesse to you is a constant force of keeping people up to date, and Chew Girl is just so entertaining, and Stace and Saipan being brand new. I mean, the people that are in here are fucking awesome. So thanks for recognizing that at times this has been extensively hard, and it has been hard on me and my family and my kids, but every single second is not only financially worth it, but also spiritually, emotionally, friendship-wise, and building up a digital family. This place is pretty amazing.
Yeah, well, anything worth doing is hard. You think it's hard being community leader, community organizer. How about creating Steem?
Yeah. I mean, I've mentioned a couple times tonight, but like, I'm a PhD chemist, and I've looked at some of the math on there, and I can't do it. Like, these guys are freaking geniuses and really, really smart, and sometimes they're kind of prickly because they're devs, and devs can be prickly people, but there's no lack of intelligence on the Steem blockchain. This place is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I'm not really like the most mathematical person. In fact, I always avoided it. It seemed like in school it was just like something they made you do that didn't seem super relevant to my life. And now I kind of wish that I had stuck with it a little bit, just for only because of Steem.
Yeah,
but
if only to understand the blockchain.
But Steem and the community and this whole experience is, it's way better than college, in my opinion, because
it's free and it pays you.
Yeah, because I'm getting paid to learn.
Fuck yeah.
And sure, like, I'm not getting paid a lot, but
hold on. Wait, I mean, the post that you just did made $250 in rewards. That's times 5. So that's what, $1,250? I mean, you made $1,250 on a single post. I mean, that, some families are happy to make that in a year.
That's the first time I've had a huge trending post like that was on the main page of trending. And I will have to thank, you, Osbit Bank, and Reggae Muffin, for all, and Shane for all being sponsors of this contest. And Reggae inspired it many months ago. And then I got to have a big shout out to Mystery Man Grumpy Cat, who's been reorganizing the trending page lately. So he's a mystery man. There, you can go. I looked. It's like a brand new account. It was created with the non-Steem, or Deal With It was created with the non-Steem, which created Grumpy Cat. So this account, everybody's been complaining ever since I got on Steem, how the trending page sucks. Well, who knows? Maybe it's you. I mean, it's person.
I wish.
But it's some person that we would probably know their name if we knew their name.
Yeah.
But they are going, and my post got up to like 160 or 170, which that's definitely was already the highest paid post that I've ever had. And then they just said, well, you know what? Maybe this should be like a lot closer to the top.
So I just want to share that some of the success, to me, it's a combination of two things. It is the community that you have built over time. I mean, you DM me, you say, hey, Agro, do this. And I say, okay, here's some money and here's some re-steams. I don't do that for everybody. I do that for the people that I trust and have seen and I think have a good mission. And then the second piece of that is that mission of like, I'm going to go help build the Steem ecosystem, and here's what we need to help people. And you went out and you did it. And I think this platform will reward that. You need both. You need good content and you need a good network. And you spent a lot of time building up the good network, and then you have a really worthy and worthwhile project. And to me, it's the least surprising thing in the world that thing hit trending. So congratulations, and I'm glad to see that the welcoming committee is kicking off in a big fucking way. And nice job. I'm proud of you. Good work. And I'm pleased as shit knowing that in some ways you got some sea legs for the Steem ecosystem by hanging out in PalNet and MSP.
Oh, for sure. And before I go on about that a little bit, I'd like to go back to something that We Kill People said about how he grew in on the YouTube platform. Is that he had people that he was promoting their content, and they were promoting his, and that's a very similar thing to the way I've grown.
Yeah. It takes community. I mean, community blends the line of circle jerk a little bit, but community is like the single most important thing going around. I mean, we as people that can support and help people are looking at who are you, who are your friends, and what is your content. I mean, we are looking at you as a person as much as what is your content. And when the people are good and the content is good and the mission is good and you seem to be surrounded by folks that are going to help, that's the triangulation that, I didn't have those eyes 17 months ago or so when I started, but having been here a while and starting to think about, don't ask what Steem can do for me, but think about what I can do for Steem, because those people tend to be awesome and their projects tend to be awesome, and their wallets eventually catch up with that awesome.
Well, the way it started for me was on July 4th, which I've learned recently is the 1-year anniversary of when Steem actually began rewarding posts. And I spent on my first post some 8, 10, 12 hours for all of these like super detailed research oriented posts that really no one was seeing.
Yeah. I did that too.
But that was one aspect. So like people get really upset because they spend a couple hours on a post, and you know what, like, and they didn't get rewarded. Well, a lot of times it takes a lot more than just a couple of hours, and it's really a lot about the investment, so that those many hours I spent in those early days when I was getting nothing, where today I could write a post with 30 words and a picture, and it might get up to $10. Well, that's a direct result of those behaviors. And the other thing was, I was reading Dale Carnegie, and How to Win Friends and Influence People. And one of the biggest, most important things for me was just this one thing of, you have to be interested in other people in order to be interesting to them. So making other people look good. So when I found people who were doing amazing things, well, then I added that first element, super long effort wise, detailed, intricate posts about the amazing people that I come across on Steem, and and then getting their input on it and making sure it looks good, and that has, and then of course other people on the platform are also interested because I'm writing about someone who's doing awesome things on the platform. So of course it's just, it adds up.
So I got a buddy that's an attorney in Boston, and he's one of my best friends, and he has been an incredibly successful attorney, and he got made partner pretty early in his career, and he had a knack of not only winning basically everything that they threw at him, but he also had a knack for bringing in clients. And so I said, hey, what is it that helps you bring in all these clients? And he says, you got to treat these people like you love them. And, it's that brings you to that next level of, you are willing to go the extra mile. I'm willing to go the extra mile for these people. I love them. What else? I have no other option. This is my digital family. So that just goes along with what you're hearing out of the, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I guess I just take it the next step of say, Don't just treat it like you're interested in them. Treat it like you really care and that you love them. And here, that there's an image that has been planted in my brain. I think it's still in general. It's a pinned thing in general. Let me see if I can go find it. But it's basically, you have to give a fuck, or here's how you give a fuck, or something like that. Or it's an image. Is it still around? I don't know. It might be gone, but it's a.
So should SP the SP, should that just be called like fucks given?
Yeah, the fucks given. I mean, yeah, you gotta give. It was this like medieval painting. It was like a embroidered thing of, look at my field. This is my fuck grove. It now lays fallow. And it was just this like really, really hipster way of saying I don't give a fuck, and I loved it. But it really inspired me to think of like, well, this is actually my digital homestead. This is where I plant my flag, and this is where I will buck the tradition of the internet and actually give a fuck about the other people and this place. I will actively give a fuck. I won't just not give a fuck. That's easy. But I will actively give a fuck about others in this community. And I think that's part of what makes this place different. And I think that's part of this mission driven. And that's what I think helps collect people like you, so that we can get you some training wheels under you, and then get you a community, and then take off the training wheels, and you can form your own communities. And like, we serve as an incubator for great people with great ideas. And I don't know, I'm pleased as shit with what I'm seeing, and I'm glad to see here's another Minnow we got trending. Like, this place breeds good.
When I came, I had no clue, and I hadn't been in front of a computer screen hardly at all for like 10 years. So I was super slow at typing. General moved like lightning speed to me. I was very much not having the whole like hanging out and chat. I couldn't deal. But at one point, Discordian, now mind you, Discordian's account, he only joined 2 weeks before me, but he is very sharp, and he adapted to this community very quickly. So even though he was only 2 weeks newer than me, or older than me, he became my mentor. And so I would ask him questions, and he would give me little tips here and there. And, eventually we became, peers, right? And then, a while back, I was involved more deeply with the MSP waves thing, because I came in here and I was like, wait, I live, breathe, I do my whole life, if able, like whatever waking hours I have available, I'm on Steem. And then there's a radio station where I can hear my community talk about it. And then so I became part of that. And so, MSP has definitely been pretty influential in my growth here. Although for me, because of the fact that I like to write these like super long, detailed, intricate posts, I can't hang out in the chat rooms. I just can't.
They are a soul and time sucking experience.
I do tons of direct messaging, although I spend more time in short bursts with a variety of individuals, where I used to spend a lot more time with individuals, one-on-one. The direct messaging, but that's where the magic happens.
Yep.
You can look at my post rewards and think, oh wow, he's doing so good, but like he's got these big whales voting for him. Well, there's a reason for that, because I came and I wanted to understand how things work, and I wanted to write really good posts about how things work. And really good posts, I mean, one of my early most successful posts was how to succeed as a Steemit blogger. which was ridiculous because had only been on the platform for 2 months, but I was sick of seeing people complain about not getting enough rewards on their posts. So in sort of like a fit of not quite rage, but
You can be
irritation.
Ranch Jemima at times. That's okay.
In a fit of irritation, I wrote this post. It took me over the course of 2 days. I spent about 20 some hours on it. And it was really, it made like $90. And at the time that was my highest paid article, but I got all these different people to look at it and help me edit. So like Reg and Muffin spent a lot of time like showing me like, okay, you need to use headers first of all. So I was writing like a how-to post. I didn't even know how to use headers yet, but I did in that post because he told me. And Dracos was like, yeah, this is super long. You should split it up into 2 posts. And then, you know, and I don't know, I lost the track of where I'm going with all this.
But people helped you along the way. Well, that's okay.
Because I communicated with people with an interest to learn and an interest to benefit the platform. And then they became interested in helping me because they were sort of involved in the posts themselves without having to do all the effort of writing it. They got to like advise me. And then that gave them a little bit of a more vested interest in it.
Well, I think this is going to be a little abrupt, but I'm getting very sleepy here. So I feel like you have done a great job being an overnight success that took 7 months in the making. So congratulations. It's nice to see you on Trending. It's great to see your work. It's great to see the sort of, this is how we can help new members. It's phenomenal. So kudos to you. And I don't know, any last thoughts here for the night before I bring Sir Lunch, the host, on and close up the show?
Well, you know, I just appreciate you for having me. I didn't plan to go on the show tonight. I just was trying to find somewhere people were active so I could be like, whoa, SBD is at $13. And all of a sudden I'm on the radio. So.
Yeah, we're just getting warmed up. It's going to be above 13. I think it's going to keep growing. Anyways.
Well, yeah, the fixed rate and you know, whatever.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on Inquiring Times. I hope that you and I can speak again. And as your 8-part contest keeps going, keep DMing me parts of it. I'll maybe not re-steam all of them, but I will certainly re-steam some of them. And congratulations on your recent success. And I'm looking forward to seeing how else you can impact and grow this platform.
Well, thanks, Sagrid.
Alrighty. Well, you were listening to Inquiring Times. And for our last guest of the evening, I'm going to go pull on Sir Lunch, the host. Sir Lunch, the host, are you there?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, how are things?
Hey, guys.
So
I'm on the radio.
You are on the radio. Sir Lunch, the host, you and I have spoken before. We've served on a couple panels. You know, I like the community work that you've been doing. I like some of the music pieces that you've been doing, and sort of promotion for the music community or industry out of here. It seems like you have a couple new things going on. So I am literally like now doing this with one eye open because I'm so freaking tired. But in a couple minutes here, I want to make sure that you get some time to share with us what's going on. And if I'm not as thoughtful as I might have been earlier, please forgive me. But what's going on and what brings you on the show tonight?
Willow. Hello, everyone. I just said Willow. Hello, everyone. I'm Sir Lunch, the
Willow!
host.
Willow!
Oh, man, I love it. Okay, in my defense, it's 9:24. Bob's Burgers is on. Oh, no, the Clayman. They just lost the Clayman. This is just, it's intense. But Rick and Morty was awesome today. If anyone watched Rick and Morty, moving forward, the things that I'm doing, I'm traveling and vlogging, something I always do, but I did something different this time. I found a random person on an airplane. He kind of reminded me of the guy from Justice League. He looks like Aquaman. So I was like, hey, that guy looks like he could be something on Steam It. I ended up switching seats with the person that was sitting next to him. And then I ended up talking to him. And they were landing in the same place. And I was like, hey, you should vlog with me. And then we ended up spending the next day together talking about Steam, vlogged about it. He let me put the video up, and he's joining and all that good stuff. So now I'm out here grabbing random people off the street and bringing them into my vlogs and then having them join Steam It and telling them they can be whatever they can be. So yeah, I spent the whole day like breaking down SPD, Steam, how the post rewards work, how to get on. When you get on, you should make friends, not try to make money. And then after making friends, you'll probably make money. And if not, then you should make some friends, and then you'll probably make money. But it should always be about making friends, because if there's one thing I've learned in my long time here, is that there's always an opportunity to make money, but there's only one true opportunity to make a good friend. And if you don't seek out those opportunities, you miss them, and eventually you don't make as much money as you possibly could, because if you got good friends, they want to see you survive and live and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the friends and the followers, active followers are sustainable income. And part of why this place existed is that, like, I got curied a couple times when I was a minnow doing this, and it was helpful, but it didn't last beyond the one vote. It was like, oh, $50, amazing. And it was like, all right, well, I'm back down to 7 cents now. So now what? I mean, part of what I like about this place is that we try to elevate people and stay consistent with them and give them support and, give them thousands of Steam power and do that for a whole month to try to get them some exposure and some experience being a dolphin. And but we stick with the people that are doing good things for this community. So I get it. I understand it. You're doing some great missionary work. And frankly, part of what I'm trying to do with my post and trending right now is for people that are doing exactly what you're doing, I want to pay you. And I don't just want to pay you with my upvote. My upvote is worth shit right now, but I want there to be 5 million Steam that we take from inflation from the biggest whales on the platform, which is basically mostly just going to Steam It. Let's stop doing that. Let's make a decentralized way to, for all those short conversations and mini conversations and trainings and all the stuff that's happening on the platform, let's give you like straight cash for it. And do that in a lots and lots of a distributed way. And I think that'll help.
For someone who's tired, you were very well articulated, my friend. I'd have to say that. And if that whole thing was said with one eye, hats off to you.
Thank you.
But no, I agree with that. Like, I've always been one to want to convince people that Steam It, because a lot of people are like, Steam It is a scam. A lot of people that I knew before I became whatever on Steam It, like, it's a scam. And now that I'm like whatever on Steam It, they're like, oh my god. And I'm like, well, whatever. Like, you can just stick with, because now I think you're a scam because you only want to join now that you can see that you can just make it. So, like, my approach to people is a little bit different nowadays. You know what I mean?
Whatever, you shady little scammer. I don't even want you on this network.
It's like my grandma, like last month, she's like, that's a scam. And I'm like, all right, grandma, you're going to see. And then, this month she's like, I need to buy some Steam. And I just slap her social security check out of her hand. I'm like, never. I will never show you these bit tricks.
Grandma, you're a scammer, Grandma. You make me sick. Yeah, I'm not sure that that's really helpful, but there's some line in here where, but people start that way. Everybody starts that way. I started that way. I have posts out here making fun of assholes that are running around, follow for follow, vote for vote. You know who started with follow for follow and vote for vote? Your buddy Aggroed. So like, I can't sit here and fault them. I can sit here and tell them, hey, from having done this for a year and a half and having made it like pretty decently well here, I can tell you that's a dumb fucking plan. But it is your right to do that. Maybe not your right to do that in the Minnow Support Project, but yeah, I mean that's a thing.
Well, I mean, follow for follow, it actually just falls under something called free speech. But it's kind of in the corner of retarded free speech, stupid free speech. Like, don't say that too much free speech, but people still do. And maybe I just put it under people don't know how to say hello properly yet. You know, hello, hi, how are you doing? Great pose. It doesn't register to them, and it will eventually, hopefully. But for now, follow for follows. Like, I think that's what they see on the homepage when they just jump on. It's like follow for follow, and they're like, yeah, let's do that. You know, but
who do you like? You know, if I wanted to go talk to somebody, I don't start with, "Hey, will you give me money?" I mean, like, there is a class of people that beg for a living, but they're not always like thought of with the highest esteem possible. So, you know, if your approach is on this platform, I'm gonna make it big here. I'm gonna go beg everybody I can find for money. Like, I don't think it works that way. And if it does, it's a fluke, and it's generally bad for us. I mean, what we really want to do is make sure that we're making smart investments with our Steem, our time, and our energy and our efforts in our communities to support articulate, kind, caring people that are going to help grow this place. And that specifically means not helping assholes and flamers and troublemakers and dipshits. Like, you know, there are some on the platform, but hopefully we're not helping them with our Steem.
Well, I'd have to say no to that because, right, so as a content creator, because I do like animations, I have a cartoon out, like 2 of them and a bunch of stuff, right? It's actually trolls, assholes, and those guys that give content creators some extra different content to make something out of, right? So like it's like a cycle almost. It's just that the trolls are a little bit like overflowing.
The trolls. Don't feed the trolls. That's rule number 1 of the internet.
No, but you're totally right, man. But I mean, we do need a little bit of trolls. Some trolls are good. It's just that we have ones that are just like, I don't know. They don't understand that there is a rule to trolling. Like, you troll to a certain extent, and you don't troll to hurt your own community image. You know, you can troll people within your community, but hurting the community image is like, come on now. Because at the end of the day, we all want to make money. We all want the platform to grow. So never do anything that hinders that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a pretty simple line that we can all agree to. Or we can mostly all agree to. But
I mean, unless you're already rich, then I guess that line doesn't really matter.
Then you can do whatever the fuck you want. But, you know,
Exactly.
even the rich people sometimes get smashed down. There's a couple prominent whales with I can think of at least one with a negative rep. So it happens. It's just rare.
Aggro, can I do something?
Oh, I don't know. Not if you're going to make trouble, but what are you
I'm
doing?
going to put you on the spot.
Oh, what is... now I'm tripping out. I think that was a sound effect thing, but it's also 12:30 for me, which is a daddy all-nighter, so I'm a little nervous. Is there...
Like, I couldn't help but notice that you were like, you know, like inviting some YouTubers out to play. And I was like, oh my God, I would totally want to come to that party. Now I know they're probably not going to get an invitation, but I might just show up just to say hi.
Well, you're certainly welcome. I mean, I don't know what kind of media outreach you have. I gotta be smart with my panel because I'm trying to get up to 5 million YouTube subscribers or audience members. And I don't know how many you're bringing, if it's a lot. So, like, you know, you have an outlet here. I'd love to actually get you a radio show, too, if you want one. I don't know if that's a thing that's happening or not. But, and now I'm talking with both my eyes closed. But but for that panel discussion in particular, I got to be restrictive in making sure that people have hundreds of thousands of viewers to go on that one in particular.
You got to see the beauty in it, though, Aggro. Watch this. In a land far, far away, where YouTubers were the best thing possible, one man rose from Steem to become a crypto vlogger and show all the vloggers on YouTube what it means to be a crypto vlogger so that they could pave the way for their followers.
Yeah.
Sir Lunch, the host.
I mean... There is some appeal. I mean, if you want to make a couple promo pieces for this thing, go right ahead. I will re-steam them and get them out there.
Got work. That's all I want.
But we gotta
Let's need some work.
I mean, you have a couple weeks. I mean, if you can get up to a couple 100,000 people, then I'm on board.
Oh, I'm getting there.
Okay.
And if not, does anyone know how to make some bots to make it look like I got there? We're gonna need to make this work.
Oh God. Yeah, I'm sure there's some follower farms you can pay for this. It is the internet after all. and I might accept that because, you know, it's the internet. Who knows the difference? I'm actually a dog. People don't know this, but I am literally, I talk about being a furry. I'm not a furry. I'm just literally a canine. True story.
That is legit. And Inquiry, I love you. And shout out to Battle Axe. Hi, Battle Axe. I'm on air. This is live. Guys, this is Team Steem. Can you hear me right now? This is live. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's live. You're on MSP Waves. It's a big deal. And yeah, shout out to Battle Axe. It's wonderful to have you here, my dear. It's been a while since I've been in Steam Speak, but it is fun to have some Steam speakers come in here and cross pollinate, if only every so often. All right, I'm going to bed. This is happening. So lunch.
I'm glad I could be the closer because you know you always save the best for last. So thank you for having me, and thank you everyone for staying to wait for me to talk. I love you all.
Yeah, sounds awesome. All right, you were just listening to Sir Lunch, the host. We have confirmation from Team Steem that he could hear you. So that's a good night for everybody. And let me go play. Oh, I don't know. Why don't we play Long December? And I'm going to go dedicate this one to Toriko. And anyways, when this song is over, I'm tapping out for the night, and literally, I'm just gonna pass out.